Restoration, the power that many of us use to flee from giants and dragons in Skyrim, as a kind of lobster running away for dear life kind of thing. However, isn't it funny that most of us only ever use the starting skill? Maybe eventually moving on to burst heal, but probably not past that. The point with all this is to say that restoration is in a lot of games, and it always seems to do the same thing. You can of course heal yourself and allies. Maybe even if you push deep enough into the coveted restoration skill tree, you might unlock the cheat death once per day option, which seems to permeate every restoration skill tree. Which seems good, until you realize that most people just reload the save at the slightest inconvenience. I mean, seriously, I found out like years later that Skyrim had a jail system that you could like go to time. What? Just what? Just reload. What? Anyways, but what if I told you in a game where you can literally call down meteorites and an endless storm in the palm of your hands that in every way is a legally distinct Kamehameha, but instead of all that could make you damn near impervious to any attack, surviving an onslaught of crushing blows, only to punch them in the face with a good old Catholic roofie punch, I guess, proceeding to then touch their chest and only their chest, and breaking their showing them the glorious light of our Lord, or whatever, and boom, you have an army of followers who believe in the great God or whatever. If you want that and more, then have I got a mod for you. Did I mention how you can combine the powers of electricity and restoration to apply a totally morally right shock therapy, bringing them back from certain death as a faithful beloved member of our flock? How about having more upgrades than your hollow and bottomless heart can possibly yearn for? This mod's got you covered in that way as well. And let me tell you, that is one of the biggest compliments I have for this fantastic yet flawed mod. And that is just how many connecting spell effects there are given all of the skill trees, intertwining and interweaving with hybrid skills that you can choose given each profession, or enhancement, I suppose, which most modders seem to skip out on. Also, one thing I kind of breezed by is how satisfying it is to punch an enemy in the face with your fist charged with holy restoration, not only healing you, but also knocking most enemies out like a light. So you can apply the rather fast brainwashing, as well as infusing weapons with said restoration gives your weapons lifesteal. I'm starting to think this modder wanted to make like a blood mage, but kind of settled on this. Kind of like a holy sadist, I guess, like a fucked up nun or something. And regardless of the mod author's proclivity, I'm willing to bet you'll have one hell of a time with this mod. So, is that it? Should you go out right now and take it for a spin? Well, at least right now, I can't really suggest this mod. The reason why is because at the time of this recording, I encountered a pretty frustrating bug. You see, when playing with this mod, everything starts off fine, only to eventually break. And I don't even use the term break loosely. After playing for like 10 minutes, the game has this hard stutter. Kind of like lags out, disconnects, and then rejoins in a weird way. And in Blade and Sorcery, that is an utter death sentence. Okay, maybe not in a death sentence because we're basically immortal given the restoration. It's mostly just frustrating. And that's kind of also my other problem I have with it. Don't get me wrong, I love game-breaking things just as much as the next guy, especially when they're earned. Getting the capstone of a long-invested skill tree, hell yeah. But that's just it. I started off this video telling you guys about just how many games use restoration within their skill tree. And honestly, who could say no to Wolverine-like healing at the drop of a hat? Especially when alchemy/potions are just so expensive. Never balanced correctly. And all that. But so often I think people kind of fumble the ball, or at least the potential. And I'm sure there's a reason for it, like how hard things are to implement and or how popular fire will always be. Why invest in that when people will always choose the X? But I can't help but wonder how cool it would be to take all that damage thrown at you and throw it right back at the enemy, casting 1,000 threads of light that burn a hole right through your enemy, curving around corners, or even something as simple as just lighting the way, a makeshift torch if you will. And don't get me wrong, the mod author definitely brought the creativity, albeit a little morbid, with the funny but probably accurate version of how healing another could cost the person being healed something great. Kind of like the idea of equivalent exchange, frankly, I think really clever. But outside of the whole brainwashing thing, a lot of the skill tree upgrades, especially the ones in the tethering points, are something as simple as when you use this ability, you heal a little bit more. You now have passive regen. You now don't take focus as much. You get slightly more health when you mix your body skill and restoration, resulting in that. It's not that these things don't make sense, it's just that they're another stat slightly going up, you know? But again, don't get it twisted, this mod is absolutely delightful. And if the modder fixes the stutter bug, which I don't think is just on my end, then I would love to see more. But I really hope the next spell skill tree the mod author works on is a blood magic / chaos magic skill tree. So long as we have that, I think the damn near bottomless amount of healing could have one hell of a use. But as it stands right now, it leaves me just a little wanting. But still a mod worth checking out in a few weeks. Hopefully then the problems have been leveled out. And before I forget, thank you so much to our members for supporting, even though you probably should stop and buy yourself something nice. I'll be okay, please do that. If you wanted to do something, just pop into our streams and say hi. I'd love chatting you up a little bit. And you can do so every single Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We stream at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Thursday and Friday, and of course Saturday we stream at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, just to give you guys some gap in case of time zone weirdness. Be sure to stop by and say hi. By the way, I think next month I might try to do a whole month of just streaming. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But till then, my name is GRINN. I hope I can see you again and love you.